ago that people responsible for the violence during the Capitol riot obviously should not be pardoned, but they were pardoned by Donald Trump. So more than 100 police officers were injured, 200 people were found guilty of assaulting cops.
People shouldn't be surprised. That actually bothers me when people are like, oh, I can't believe Trump pardoned these people. Why can't you believe it? He said he was going to, and then he won the election, and then he did. Why are you pretending to be surprised?
Kasparian and Cenk Uygur are absolutely melting down inside over Donald Trump releasing the J6 protesters in this clip, as Kasparian and Cenk Uygur followed the woke narrative that all these people were insurrectionists and now can't handle the fact that story is crumbling. So let's jump in and watch Kasparian and Cenk Uygur die inside while they react to Trump's pardons.
President Donald Trump has now issued sweeping pardons for those who were convicted of crimes related to the January 6th Capitol riots in 2021, including those caught on camera violently attacking police. So he pardoned nearly all of the 1,500 people charged. More than 1,100 of them had already been convicted. The rest had their cases pending. So 717 of them were sentenced to time behind bars. 251 of them were sentenced to home confinement. And while pardoning virtually all of those charged, Donald Trump did commute the sentences of 14 others, and that includes several individuals who were actually convicted of seditious conspiracy. Now, Trump's pardons also include 700 defendants who were convicted and completed their prison sentences or were never ordered to serve time. And more than 900 of these defendants actually pleaded guilty through their trials, through the court process. Now, obviously, all of this flies in the face of Trump and JD Vance's promise that he would issue pardons on a case-by-case basis and not pardon those who engaged in violent acts. So, for example, Vice President JD Vance had said just days ago that people responsible for the violence during the Capitol riot obviously should not be pardoned, but they were pardoned by Donald Trump. So more than 100 police officers were injured, 200 people were found guilty of assaulting cops. Those people have been pardoned. Some were armed with poles, bats, and bear spray. A former Metropolitan Police officer by the name of Michael Fanone lost consciousness and then later suffered a heart attack after a rioter shot him in the chest with a stun gun. Now, Trump also pardoned former Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio, who was sentenced in 2023 to 22 years in prison and commuted the sentence of Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes, who was ordered to spend 18 years behind bars for plotting to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. Now, Tarrio has already been released from prison, and I want to kind of draw attention to one other specific individual who's been pardoned and is now free, and that person is a gentleman by the name of Matthew Kroll. So he is highlighted in the video that we're about to watch right now. He's the one wearing the red hoodie. You can't really tell because it's so far away, but he's an older gentleman. He stole a police baton from an officer and then proceeded to use the baton to assault police. According to the Department of Justice, Matthew Kroll, 64 years old, of Linden, Michigan, was sentenced to 51 months in prison and 36 months of supervised release. He actually pleaded guilty on August 15th of 2023 to one count of assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers using a dangerous weapon, which is a felony. So he is also a self-professed executive officer of the Genesee County, Michigan Volunteer Militia, and also an associate of the Wolverine Watchmen, which is an extremist group comprised of individuals who were also convicted in the plot to overturn the election. And it's just...
Folks, I don't know if you caught it, but I heard Kasparian say that out of all of these people, there were a handful of people convicted for seditious conspiracy. So all of these people were supposed to be insurrectionists. All of these people were supposed to be trying to overthrow the government. But you're telling me out of all of these people, there was only a handful actually convicted of sedition. Really? Because that was the narrative. These were all people trying to steal the election. Look, I get this turned into a riot, people were fighting, but at the same time, we know that this was plotted. We know they set him up, because what happened to Ray Epps? Why is the guy who's on camera chanting for everybody to go into the Capitol more than anyone else, and that guy got nothing? And we know that there were federal agents on the ground that they lied about. Like, this whole story is crumbling about all these people trying to overthrow the government and all that. And I get it turned violent, cops were attacked. And I don't really know how to feel about it. You know, I can understand trying to keep, you know, the violent people in jail, but they lied about this whole narrative. It was set up. It was meant for these people to, you know, end up doing this. They wanted them to do it so they could call it an insurrection. Like, we know all of this from the information that's come out. So I'm not really that mad about it, but I understand Anna Kasparian just cannot handle dealing with this. But, you know, maybe if you would have gone after Ray Epps, this would look a whole lot different. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and leave a like. It really helps the algorithm. I appreciate it. Let's get back in.
I'm not in favor of violent crime, regardless of who does it, okay? I get mad at the left when they coddle violent criminals. I'm gonna get mad at the right for coddling violent criminals. You wanna make a case for pardoning some of the people who wandered into the Capitol building, didn't actually use violence against anyone, and got caught up in it? That's fine. Pardoning guys like Matthew Kroll, who stole a baton from a police officer and then proceeded to assault him, and other officers with said baton? How are you gonna make an argument in favor of releasing that guy?
Yeah, so look, I love doing the show with you guys. We're live 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday through Friday, as you guys know, on YouTube. And so we've got chat polls going on right now, what you guys think of the different Bidens, the different pardons, the Biden pardons, the Trump pardons, etc. And I want to give voice to a couple of members, and then I want to come back and tell you what I think of Trump's pardons. Brian Hurst said on Super Chat, Trump ran on saying he would pardon January 6ers, promises made, promises kept. Biden said he would never and did worse. So that's an interesting point of view, and it is fair to say it's like people shouldn't be surprised. So that actually bothers me when people are like, oh, I can't believe Trump pardoned these people. Why can't you believe it? He said he was going to, and then he won the election, and then he did. Why are you pretending to be surprised? It just, like, there's a lot of people in mainstream media that do that. Oh, I am shocked and chagrined by this. Guys, what did you think he was gonna do?
I mean, he ran on it, but he also made it appear as though he was gonna be a lot more nuanced in issuing these pardons. He wasn't.
Oh, yeah, but that's, like, for me, Trump acting in self-interest is baked in. Of course he's gonna do the most outrageous thing. So I don't know, I'm not 1% surprised by it. I think, I love how open-minded our audience is, so many different points of view here. First, post-traumatic self disorder says, I don't give a bleep how it looks. I'm relieved for Fauci. They were going to dog that poor man into an early grave. On the other hand, Newfie Dragon says, this is why I love TYT and Cenk. I never once considered the future powerful, disastrous ramifications of Biden's preemptive pardons. Now, one last one for you guys. These are all members from TYT.com. You can sign up there as well, be part of the show. Worst case scenario, Dragon says, I'm not that mad at pardoning on January 6 people. Trump got them into that mess, told them the POTUS was behind them, convinced them that it was the right thing to do.
That's actually a really good point that in my mind got clouded by the fact that he's coddling violent criminals. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear any excuses for anyone. I don't care if it's politically motivated. I don't care if it's just someone who's off their rocker because they're high on bath salts. If someone is posing a threat to people, including police officers, they should suffer the consequences for that, period.
Yeah.
It makes me really angry that they were included in the blanket pardons.
So look, so here's my opinion on Trump's pardons. You want to blame Trump? Of course, 100%. Now, again, he told the American people put him in charge. That's not why they put him in charge, but they were aware of it, right? The person I blame most, to be honest, is Merrick Garland. Because he went after the small fry. He went after the average guy who has no power, who's not an elite, who broke into the building. It was an easy conviction because it's trespassing, it's breaking into the building, it violates several laws. He went after the violent people too. Good, that's good, we wanted him to do that. But he left the people who actually planned the event completely untouched for 2.5 years. So what, they just did it on their own? It just popped into their head one day, all the different states, and they just decided to come to the Capitol and bum rush it? No, it was part of a plan, and they wrote it in a book, Peter Navarro did, about how it was meant to delay the proceedings so they could bring it back to the states, and at the states they would have local fake Trump electors steal the election. But Merrick Garland believes in protecting the elite. So he's like, oh, no. I would never charge Trump or any of the other people that already worked in government, because those are the beloved elites. They're free to go. And then they realize Trump's gonna run again, and he's like, oh, wait, I meant special counsel. So it was the way that he did it and the timing of it was deeply political. Merrick Garland's one of the worst attorney generals we've ever had. So now, because of that, the American people never got a full hearing on it. And they don't really know what happened. If they knew, in my opinion, if they knew what we know about what actually happened with the fake elector plot and etc., they wouldn't have put Trump back into office and those guys would still be in prison.
I can appreciate Anna Kasparian leaving the left and becoming a little more independent, but both Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur are still living in this woke narrative. Because I would ask Cenk Uygur, it's like, why did Liz Cheney destroy a year and a half's worth of testimony? Why did all these 51 people, hide all this evidence? Why did it take Tucker Carlson to get the video footage showing all of these other peaceful people walking around? Cenk Uygur wants to bring up the fact that we never got a hearing. Well, the J6 commissioners, all the people on there, were just pardoned by Joe Biden, along with Fauci and along with his whole family. And all of these people who were in on that, all the while they were the ones hiding evidence, manipulating this whole thing. So I do agree with Cenk Uygur in the fact that, yeah, we never got a hearing to understand completely everything that happened. But that's because Joe Biden and the woke left made it that way. So I'm not really surprised, but Cenk Uygur wants to believe in, this insurrection plot and all that, but he wants to completely disregard everything on the woke left that they were trying to do during 2020 and even during this entire investigation to begin with. So yeah, they're butthurt about it, but at the same time, I don't really care, because Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur were also the same people who, some years ago, ripping on anyone who was supporting Donald Trump in some of the worst ways possible. But now they come to their senses and now they want to talk about, let's be everything fair. Like, I also find that part awfully convenient now. But folks, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on that, and what you thought about what woke Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian had to say in reaction to Trump's pardons on J6. Thanks for watching, folks. Like and subscribe. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.